substance, alcohol dependency, that kind of stuff is huge. And at this time, immediately after the new year, it really starts to balloon upwards again. Joining me on 700 WLW is Avi Cyperstein, and he runs an organization called Friends Helping Friends that helps people struggling with heroin or alcohol dependency, drug issues, getting referral, placement, treatment facilities, that kind of stuff. It's good information to get out there because, Avi, safe to say there's a lot of people right now that are struggling with this whose maybe friends and family members have no idea, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a big problem. As we just heard your last caller, it's out there.
And you know, I get why it's growing, I guess. You know, it seems like there's always one drug that's in vogue. Heroin's back in vogue again. But the surprising part for a lot of people is that there are many addicts that started on prescription medication because of an ailment that was prescribed by a doctor, and they simply couldn't get that supply anymore because the doctor, rightly so, cut them off, and heroin was a lot more readily available and cheaper. And so that I would say, Avi, that as society grows, as America gets older, and we get, you know, let's face it, every day it's tougher getting out of bed with injuries and stuff like that, you're probably going to see a lot more of this, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I have our program director, Ethan Finkel, who himself struggled with addiction, and he's actually sitting, we were lucky enough to get him in, he's sitting right next to me right now, and he actually wants to go and tell you exactly a little bit more about what you just said.
Yeah, sure. Ethan, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Thank you so much. Good morning. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Tell me a story.
And you know, in my experience, I've seen, you know, like you said, it's getting out there more and more. You know, people, you know, nobody, I myself, and nobody wakes up one day and says, you know, I want to become a heroin addict. I want to be addicted to this. I didn't grow up as a kid saying, you know, when I get older, I want to be a junkie. You know, and it happens slowly. Like you said, it starts maybe with partying, or it starts with this, and then there's this invisible line as it goes further that you cross over into addiction, where once that you cross over that line, it's the addiction that tells you what you need to do, where you need to go, what you need to get. It doesn't care how. You know, you mentioned something very important. You know, we can never know who's struggling. There's people all around us. Everybody knows somebody that's struggling, even if they don't know it. You know, it can be somebody at the office. It can be a child. It can be a relative. It can be anybody. And we don't always know it because, you know, a lot of times when you think of heroin addiction, you think of that quintessential junkie on the street.
Right. And it's not the case. I mean, we have heard that there's been a huge explosion in heroin addiction rates, drug addiction rates of people who live in suburbia. You would never know because it's not happening on the light of day. It's not happening on the street.
Exactly. And it's, you know, it starts off, like you said, with an injury, or it's, you know, I'm going to my doctor, so it's not really so bad because I'm getting a prescription from my doctor. You know,
right.
So I'm not really that bad.
But how many? Let me ask you something. You know, when people come in, how many people? The number one excuse for becoming an addict with heroin, is it because of an injury? Is it because, hey, I was dabbling with the crowd? You know, when it comes to the causes of heroin addiction, what's behind it here in Cincinnati?
It varies. You have a lot that come in through injuries. The people that come in through injuries seem to be a lot more in denial about it, where they think that, you know, there's a good reason for it, you know, as opposed to, you know, people that came in through partying or through the wrong friends or through peer pressure or whatever it may be through that, you know, it's more of, I don't know how this happened and I can't stop.
It's much harder when someone, you know, does come in that way. It's much harder to seek help when they're in denial about it, that's for sure.
Avi and Ethan on the show here from Friends Helping Friends in Cincinnati, which is a national organization based right out here in the tri-state area that helps people with addiction. And it's good to have something like this. As far as what you do there, though, you are a liaison not only between the person who needs treatment, but with everything from you know, flying into Cincinnati, the area, to dealing with insurance companies and human resources departments. It's you know, it's more than just getting treatment, I guess, right? There's a whole process.
It's tremendous, and you know, a lot of times people think, you know, I was actually doing an intervention last night, and I was speaking to the mother, and she was telling me how she was, you know, just asking her friend who sent their kid to treatment where they sent him, so let me send him there. But at the end of the day, every person is unique, and every person needs something else. So just because it will work for one person, it doesn't mean that that treatment center is going to work for somebody else. How do I start? Where do I begin? What do I do? What does my insurance cover? Let me tell you something. Insurance covers a lot.
to take that first step. The first step is always that hard step, that making that phone call, calling, realizing that you have a problem, realizing that it's time to get help. And a lot of people are afraid and intimidated by the process. And what we try to educate and get the word out to everybody is, if you're aware that you have that problem, you're going through this struggle, we are here to take care of all the pieces of the puzzle that seem overwhelming. We're going to help guide you through that. You just have to make that first phone call. And once that first phone call is made, like you said, there's an insurance verification process. What kind of issues is the person struggling with? What's the most appropriate facility for them? Is it out of state? Is it in Florida? Is it in California? Is it in Arizona? Is it, anywhere? Where is he going to get the proper help? And we help the individual and their family, and we literally guide them, through the entire process from that phone call, whether it's speaking to the individual themselves, their families, then, making connection to the facility, flight costs.
And a lot of times it's very hard to make that initial phone call because people, are embarrassed. They don't want it to get out. Their neighbors might know, their work might know. What are people going to think of them when it comes to addiction? It's, and I found this somebody who's addicted is not a bad person. You know what I'm saying? People think they're bad.
Well, I think the addiction makes you do bad stuff.
That's true. That's true. They're sick.
Yeah, you're sick. You're literally, when you do some of the heinous things, I'm sure you've seen it, because I know, Avi, you were an EMT, a volunteer EMT for a while. Did you see the direct effects and costs of this? Avi Cyberstein, he's done a show for Friends Helping Friends, Drug Addiction Center. Primarily dealing with heroin, though we're seeing a lot of that right now. As far as the typical amount of time you see in rehab and treatment center like this, how long does one spend, and what is the whole process like?
So it depends on each individual. I love long-term treatment. That was my experience, as being a heroin addict for a while. But, sometimes people can't go for long-term, so we'll try to get them the best treatment for shorter term and then set up an aftercare process that they can continue with once they come home and transition them back into their mainstream living. So, for everybody, really, it depends on their situation, depends on what they can do, and depends on, what they put into the treatment process. It's not a magic pill, you know what I mean? So,
because one would think, it's, here there's heroin addiction, it's going to be someone who's, down and out, don't have any money, it's going to be a state-sponsored government program through the prison system, but that's not the case, as you've seen this now grow from those kind of neighborhoods to suburbia, where people do have means, maybe, and are able to get in a good quality treatment center to help shake that addiction.
100%. We work with Wall Street firms where some really executives and high powered people that struggle, unfortunately, with addiction, and it's all over the place. It doesn't, addiction doesn't care if you're down and out in the street, if you have money, what religion, what race. It doesn't care who you are. It takes over, and so there are all types now, and there's treatment for everyone.
In that regard, guys, too, how many the recidivism is a strong word here, but as far as the relapse rate goes, for people going to treatment in a program like yours, what is it?
Depends on the age. I always like to say that treatment is 100% and it's 0%. I hate the numbers. I hate putting people in numbers that 85% are success. So, you know what I'm saying? I like to look at it as each individual. We put in people into treatment once and they did amazing. And we put people in a bunch of times and they didn't, they came back out and they relapsed. And the reason for relapse is because they're not taking the tools that treatment can't fix you. It can give you the tools to live your life through a sober, clean way. But if you don't take those tools and use it, then one will probably relapse.
What's the number there? If people want maybe more information or have a loved one of themselves, maybe trying to deal with
the number is 866-343-3341, 866-FHF 3341. Every 24 hours. 24 hours. Anybody can call in, and we love to be of service and help out in any which way that we can.
We'll help them, even if it's not someone who's saying I need a rehab